You are listening to the Light FM's Girl Talk podcast, brought to you by the Stoner Group at UBS Financial. My name is Carol.
This is Alicia.
Hey, I'm Tricia.
And today we're talking the Sabbath, protecting our Sabbath. And Alicia, you got some thoughts on that? You kind of brought that one to the table?
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast. It's called The Next Right Thing by Emily P. Freeman. And
she's a great author.
She writes about, her most recent thing is about deadlines and how do you make decisions. And so I started, this is the first podcast of hers that I listened to, and I love her soothing voice. It's very calming. But I didn't even get like 5 minutes into this podcast, and I had to pull out a piece of paper and write this down. She was talking about sabbaticals and time off and how do you make time for yourself to be with God, to just get away.
Yeah, I think we need to define Sabbath, because for some people, when you say the word Sabbath, they automatically think Sunday.
Yes.
They just think. But I think we're talking on a grander scale here. How do we protect that time? We're not just talking about self-care here, but God ordained Sabbath from things.
Yes, and so she says it's not for us to create our own Sabbath. It's already there. We have to protect it. God has already given us a Sabbath and told us to take it, given us permission. Mm-hmm. We have to protect that time.
And I will be over here being quiet because my Sabbath is one of my busiest days of the week, really.
Seriously. It is. And I think just in general, life and the way we live has, like, if you think of the typical Sunday Sabbath, that's football games and baseball games and activities, even church activities, youth group and small group, and you've got to get up early to go to your meeting before church, then there's something after church, and then you have meetings, and everyone's just like, let's pile it all up on Sunday because we're already here.
Right.
And how do we protect that? Maybe it's not Sunday, maybe it's a different day.
Yeah.
But I think even if your day is Sunday, you have to say no to some of those things.
Once again, me over here being silent. Because I don't have this one down. Because I've been really convicted. Like, okay, I'm going to this, y'all know I'm honest. So this is the first year I'm not helping with Vacation Bible School. And I have struggled with it. Mm-hmm. Because they get finished late at night and I have to be here early in the morning, and it takes so much out of me. The older I get, when I was younger, I was like, let's do it. But the older I get, the harder it is for me to muster up the energy to do that.
Well, you have a different schedule now, so you have to make some of those decisions.
Can I tell you, I did not do that when I was doing mornings either.
It's not... I want to serve in my local church because for a long time I didn't. I just sat on the sidelines and was kind of a spectator. And so I really felt a call to serve. But this year is my first year, and I've struggled with it. And I have friends are like, what class do you have at VBS? And I'm like, I don't have one. And then I feel guilty. And I should I go anyway and just kind of float around and see where I can help? Anyway, I really struggle with that because I think in this day and time that we equate busyness, and I know that this is kind of leaving the Sabbath, but I think it still relates. But I think we equate busyness with importance and value. And so the busier that we are, the more we think we're valued. And so we feed something unhealthy in ourselves when we can't stop and take that opportunity for the Sabbath. Just if you go back to the Bible, look in Genesis, the creation story, there's a Sabbath built in for a reason. God knew we needed it. He rested on that day, and
he took a whole day.
He took a whole day.
And I don't even think in today's modern world we're talking about a whole day. We're just talking about, like, what does it mean to you? Like, what would refuel you and give you that peace and energy that you need to continue to do all the good things and to be able to volunteer and do everything else that you want, or, do more at your church.
Well, and I think here you have to look at, and this is what I've tried to shift my mind to, you can't pour out of an empty cup. Mm-hmm. There is nothing to pour out of an empty cup. And so if you don't find those things that fill your soul, and you find those times to come away from everything and kind of reflect and think, this week we started watching the Brady Bunch at my house because I'm like so into retro shows. I love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke Show. And we happened upon the Brady Bunch. And I was watching this show, and they take time in the evenings. They're all sitting around reading the paper. And I'm like, what in the world is that? If you laid an episode of the Brady Bunch next to my life, and you did one of those like highlight magazines, like circle the differences, there would be so many differences.
Yeah.
And the pace of life that we run at now
It's
is
different now.
It's our bodies weren't made for it.
Well, like what you just said about VBS, though, reminded me, my kids were on a swim team. And every week they send out the volunteer list. You've got to volunteer. And it's a lot of effort to volunteer. There's setup and breakdown, and there's timers, and they need help during the events as much as they need help before and after the events. And my kids just kind of need me to be there to help shepherd them.
Sure.
Swim teams, if you've ever been to a swim meet, it is chaotic.
Yeah.
Long, too.
There's people going all over. You've got to make sure that their arms are marked up properly with which race and which heat and which lane are they going to be in. And so I feel like I was needed more with my family to help them to get to and organize them. And so I was able, so I never volunteered was my point. And I had guilt. I had a lot of guilt because every time the email came up, we need everyone to volunteer. We need everyone. We have the biggest team and we need to show up as volunteers. And I'm like, you know what? I just can't. I can't do that right now. But then I found other ways while I was there to help out.
Right.
So I wasn't an official volunteer, but I saw holes and needs and where I was like, oh, okay, come on. And I would help all the other kids or get some kids organized.
Because their parents were volunteering.
Yes.
Doing a snack bar.
Yeah. So, you know, you all kind of help out where you can and where you need to, and it doesn't have to be an official. But that was a way that I kind of protected myself, and what we needed was I did say no. But I had a lot of guilt for a while about it.
Well, I remember something I read once that talked about if we're always saying yes to everything, yes, 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 yes. Number one, we can't do the best job that we want to do, the best thing that we can do. We can't pour ourselves into everything. There's just not enough of us. But the second part is when we're saying yes to everything, we're stealing someone else's ability to say yes to something. And I think that's true in church volunteering and other kinds of volunteering. If the same people are always volunteering because they care and they're known as the leaders, then other times people won't step up to take that role.
Yeah, so now
I'm going to
answer all those text messages. Are you helping with VBS? I'm going to say, I'm giving someone else the opportunity this year.
Well, you can laugh about that, but think about it. It is true.
It is true.
It's true.
It is true.
Because it's a blessing.
I had to say no once to do something at church, and again, I felt super guilty. But it was like everyone kind of expected me to do it because it was my skill set, and I'm like, I just can't. It was a super busy time in my life. But someone else ended up stepping up and doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think here's the thing. There is some kind of baggage that goes with saying no. I think it should probably be the other way around. You know, I think there should be a greater responsibility for saying yes. And like, no, because I'll tell you what I've fallen prey to too, is that in the church, sometimes people say, well, the Lord told us. We've been praying, and you're the only person, you know, things like that. And so then I feel super guilty, like, well, why wouldn't the Lord tell me that, number one? But number two, you know, okay, so I need to do this. They don't have anybody. So desperation, you know, and grabbing at. And so as we get back to talking about Sabbath, what I'm interested to know what thoughts that you gals have about protecting Sabbath in your own life. I went through the Bible study with my small group at church. It's Priscilla Shire's Breathe. And it's about Sabbath. It's all about that. If you want to do an in-depth study, really great 6-week study on that. I'm not sure I learned how to do it, but you know, it was a great time, but it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
It's a great title, Breathe.
Well, we don't allow our kids to play video games or watch TV or anything like that on Sunday. That's a day that we have created. And I have felt guilty because I'll grab my phone and I'll search something, or I'll get on Facebook or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, I'm telling them this is a day that we take a break from social media. This is a day we take a break from entertainment-ish, that kind of thing. And here I am doing it. So I haven't figured out the answer to that yet. One thing I do in the afternoon if I'm home, and so this has been a strange season for us. We're gone a lot on the weekends right now. But if I'm home on Sunday, I will lie down for 2 hours. I'll be like in the bed, maybe reading, maybe napping, maybe whatever, just from about 2 to 4. Isn't that crazy? And it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I'm jealous.
Well, come on over. I'll roll over. Come on, Carol.
Right.
It'll be great. No, but seriously, it is something that I look forward to. It is something that fuels me. It's something that I try to protect if I can.
Don't text Tricia between 2 and 4.
4.
Oh,
Okay,
the
I'll put
phone
that
will be
in.
on Do Not Disturb.
Okay. I'll put that in my notes.
That's
Also,
another thing. Do you really do the do not disturb?
Yeah.
also
yeah.
do not serve salmon because she doesn't like it. I
don't
found
like
that
salmon
out
either,
today.
but-
too.
Oh, I think I knew that. I love salmon.
All right, so you do that.
Yeah.
You just protect. What do you do, Alicia?
We do we have an evening routine where we.
Oh yeah, you were talking about
we
this.
get to get as a family at 8:00. We are shut down. We are no games.
good.
No we watch TV, but we do it together.
Mhm.
And we have tea, and it is our quiet time, and we pick
tea time at
It
the
is.
Marys.
It is.
Wow.
It is. It's kind of crazy. It started like a year ago. My daughter got a tea set for her birthday, and we started making a nighttime tea, no caffeine, and it's just nice and calming. And we pick a show that we can watch together. And as they're getting older, that's more fun because we can watch, like the Brady Bunch. We've been watching Andy Griffith
fun.
and things that are appropriate for their age,
Right.
but it's not just animated cartoons. So
Yeah.
this is an opportunity
you,
where we could
Jesus.
actually watch something. And then we get ready for bed and we do devotions and bedtime stuff. But it's that hour kind of before then that we're kind of quieting down and we're sitting together.
Together.
Yeah.
That's
Is-
really impressive.
I think that is a type of Sabbath that
Right.
it's that's one of the things that we do, and we try to be consistent.
I have realized that I need to go sit somewhere and think with no phone, with no. I've started using one of the decks. I call it my corner office because it's on the corner. But I go outside and I sit on the deck for 45 minutes, maybe an hour, if I can spare that, and I just let myself breathe. And I start thinking about, and it's a weirdest thing about the stuff that comes across your mind when you just don't, because I am really bad to have stimuli all the time.
Yes.
That's my personality.
Well, and I think that's how we live.
That's
too.
our culture.
Even if it's not your personality, I think things are in our face all day long.
Yeah.
Ding, notifications, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and so I went to a technology seminar at our church a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying that very thing that you said. You've got to set the example for your kids. If your kids are on their phone all the time, it's probably because you're on your phone all the time.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That hurts.
But
So
yes,
I started
true.
doing that and putting that away. But
That's my phone.
that's your phone, by the way.
alert.
You should probably put it on Do Not Disturb while we're doing girl talk. Real life
on
here.
Sunday.
Yeah, real life here. Tricia, go lay down. So anyway, he was saying you need to set a good digital example for your kids, and that was very convicting to me too, because I find when I have free time, when nothing's going on, when I don't, have some kind of something that I have to do, I'm scrolling on a phone. And that's not good.
No, I know.
Because it doesn't give my mind time to breathe. It doesn't. I mean, I'm just
I think
constantly.
it's tricking our minds too, because this is what's happening to me. I'll start reading a book, my mind wanders, and I feel like I need to pick up my phone and check my phone. I'm like, no, I'm reading. But I just am wired to always be looking to see if someone needs something or if there's something interesting that's happened or whatever.
Who needs me right now? Yeah,
Yes.
so true. And I think that's the tension that we live in. I think it's, I can't remember exactly. I'll have to Google it after the show. We'll put it in the show notes. But somebody said, in order to grow and live a healthy spiritual life, you must ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like technology has made me in a hurry for a long time. And I'm trying to change that. And I don't know how to do it exactly, but I'm trying to eliminate that, because I think about the most meaningful conversations that I have. They're usually in the car. You know why? Because nobody's on their phone in the car. And you're behind a windshield and you're looking at things.
Well, and I love being in the car, especially by myself. So I actually saw someone on Instagram that was doing a little video, and she goes, This is the mom sanctuary.
It
It's
is.
a sanctuary
The
box.
momtuary. It is.
Because it's your place where it's just you. You control it. You can let people in or not let people in. And sometimes I love just sitting in my car and my thoughts, or even just driving home. I don't have to be sitting somewhere by myself. But you have time alone. I can't be on my phone because I'm driving.
Right.
I can turn the radio off, or I can listen to something that's encouraging. But I can just be with my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is us finding our own way of getting Sabbath, getting rest. Because if we don't do it on a regular basis, we find things like a car sanctuary, a momtuary, or whatever, going to Target or something, or Walmart, or wherever, Barnes and Noble, or wherever you like to go, is your zone out place.
Yes.
So I think it points to the fact that we need more time of scheduled rest.
And you and I share this app that we exercise with, and they talk about this a lot. They're like, don't check out on what you're doing. And I think that's so true, what we do with spirituality. We don't want to be alone with our thoughts because we're afraid of what they'll reveal and the hard work we'll have to do to deal with that thought.
That's true.
And so we just want to zone out. We just want to Netflix binge, or we just want to whatever,
distraction.
Whatever distraction we can find to kind of feed that and to keep it going. And then we fall apart like, in the coffee line because they gave us whip and we didn't want whip. And we're like, what in the world's wrong? And it's, exactly.
You misspelled my name on the coffee.
Yeah.
And we get upset about things like that. I think
true.
it's because we haven't dealt with what we need to deal with spiritually.
Yes.
We need to ruthlessly eliminate that hurry from our lives and quit being in such a hurry. That's been the big takeaway for me just recently as I've sat out on the deck with my thoughts and listened to the birds chirp and I hate for this generation that they're going to miss a lot of that, because I was sitting out there and I heard the cicadas, and that was like the classic sound of summer. I was all of a sudden 8 years old. I never wore flip-flops when I was 8 years old. I always wore tennis shoes because I love me some tennis shoes. And I was the biggest tomboy that ever lived. And all of a sudden, when I heard those cicadas, I was like 8 years old, and I was riding my blue Schwinn bicycle.
Oh, yes, the
with,
Schwinn.
Yeah, with the banana seat.
Yes.
All around my neighborhood. And it just took me back, and I thought, what is this generation going to remember about their childhood? Is it going to be Minecraft or,
wow,
all those things that they miss out on? And I'm kind of mourning that for my daughter, because I know that's going to probably be a part of her experience because she's grown up with technology.
Yeah,
I was telling her the story the other day. I was like, when my car broke down, and she was like, why didn't you just use your cell phone to call somebody?
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't have a cell phone. She looked at me like I was a dinosaur.
They did not exist.
Yeah. She was like, what?
Yeah.
I said, we had these things called pay phones. She was like, what is that? And then we started watching I Love Lucy one night, and she was like, what is that curly thing hanging off the phone? I said, that's a cord. She's never known a corded phone.
How many hours I played with the cord while talking on the phone.
And then you got to that certain place in the cord where it flipped and it went the other way, and you couldn't ever figure out how to get it back, no matter how hard you tried.
Today I keep a quarter in my car for my Aldi shopping cart, but back in the day that quarter was for a payphone.
Oh, absolutely. I don't even know, are there any working payphones anymore?
I don't think so.
Yes, there's one at a park.
Oh,
yeah. I saw one at a park because my kids did that. They said, what is that thing? I said, that's a payphone.
But who has?
I'll give you $1 if you can make a call.
They don't even know how to use it.
They don't pick it up before they try dialing. They dial first.
I know. You remember?
There's no dial tone. What's wrong with it?
You remember when you were on your way to college, you would get there and you would make a collect call to the dog so that your parents know you arrived safely, but they wouldn't accept it. You You remember that?
We always did this. They say, you have a collect call from, and you go,
oh, yeah.
The movie's over, come pick me up.
The telephone company's coming after us even as we speak. Sorry. You owe us for those calls. But those are the things that I want to take away from life. And I think that comes from Sabbath. Yes. I did not have an agenda when I was 8 years old on my Schwinn bicycle.
No.
I had no agenda at all. I mean, I know things have changed so much in our world, but I would leave literally at 10 o'clock in the morning and not return till 9 o'clock at night. And somewhere in the middle, I found lunch. I mean, I never starved.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It was
that would not happen today.
I used to ride my bike like 1.5 miles across a major highway to a pool, and I would stay at the pool all day with my friends,
gosh, right.
and and then I would come home at the end of the day, and like nobody thought that was weird.
Yeah.
But it's not that way anymore. But I hate the things that we're missing because we can't slow down long enough to stop looking at the screen and to have a conversation with somebody. And I love the post that I see on Pinterest a lot. It says, do more things that make you forget to check your phone.
Okay,
so
writing that down.
That is your assignment today.
Yeah.
Do more things that make you forget to check your phone. Protect your Sabbath. You need it. I need it. We all need it. God needed it. So don't you think that we probably should follow his example? If you have questions or comments, we would love to hear from you. You can email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. We appreciate you being a part of this family. Thanks again to the Stoner Group at UBS Financial for their support. And we'll see you next time we gather around these microphones for the next Girl Talk podcast.